The good news is marriage works. You have a 100% chance of success in marriage. I want you to listen to that. Because with all of the problems that people are experiencing in marriage today, there's a tremendous amount of fear. People think I have to marry my perfect soulmate if my marriage is going to work. And I do hope that you married someone compatible. But I'm just telling you is that you don't have to marry the perfect soulmate, what the people might call your perfect soulmate, or everything to go right for your marriage to work. God created laws. Everything that God creates, He creates with order and with an understanding based on His Word. And I want to remind us now that God created marriage. It was not a lonely Neanderthal that invented marriage. It was not a government. It was not a lawyer. It was God who created marriage. And in the beginning, when God created marriage, you remember He took a rib out of Adam's side, and it says, and then He looked down at this new couple that was there, the first married couple, and here's what God said. For this cause a man will leave his father and mother, and will cleave unto his wife. They two shall become one flesh, and it says, the man and his wife were both naked and unashamed. Number one law of marriage is the law of priority. It has to be first. And it says, first thing that God ever said about marriage is, for this cause a man shall leave his father and his mother. Well, the word leave there just means to let go of. That's all it means. It doesn't mean that you abuse them or forsake them or hate them. It just means you have to let go. Before you get married, the most important priority in your life is your mom and dad, your blood kin. But when you get married, marriage is so important that for marriage to work, you have to reprioritize every single thing in your life. And now your mother and father and everything else in your life have to be second or third or fourth, wherever they fit, to your marriage. And God created marriage to operate as the first priority in our lives. The only thing that can be more important is our personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And Jesus doesn't divide marriages, Jesus pulls marriages together. You'll never have a problem in your marriage with God being first, but our marriage has to be second. When marriage is first, the way that God created, it flourishes. When it is not first, legitimate jealousy sets in. We are designed by God to become jealous. Now, there is a dangerous and a destructive type of jealousy, but there's also a good type of jealousy. Exodus 34:14 gives us one of God's names. And here's what God says in Exodus 34:14. My name is jealous, capital J. Just like my name is Jimmy, capital J. One of God's names. And many times when we're going through all the names of God, we forget this one. God is a jealous God, and here's what this means. When God calls Himself jealous, He's saying, I created you for me first. Before your job, before your hobbies, before your interests, in any other area, I love you and I created you for me. And when I'm not first, it means an idol has taken my place. An idol is anything in our lives that has taken God's place. And God is first. And God says to the children of Israel in Exodus 34:14, my name is jealous. I'm a jealous God. My name is jealous. Jealousy is a protective emotion to protect the priorities and the relationships in our lives. It's a protective thing. And so when we get married, literally, it's like a jealousometer is what I would call it. When you stand at the altar and you get married, there is a built-in jealousy that God puts in you. And I'm not talking about a destructive jealousy that does unrighteous things. I'm talking about a godly jealousy that's in us that is there for the sake of protecting the marriage. And here's what happens. When we leave the altar and we begin to go into the everyday function of our marriage, there's a natural jealousy in every husband that knows, I should be before the kids. I should be before your friends. I should be before your parents and before your mother. I should be before your job. There's a built-in jealousy in every woman that knows, I should be before your work. I should be before your friends. I should be before golf. I should be before ESPN. Just barely, but yes, I should be there. I should be first. Now, so when marriage is operating properly, what happens is there's no jealousy. Is that we are prioritizing each other and there's just no jealousy. There is an affection and nothing prohibits it. But when something is taking you away from me, now listen to what I'm saying. When something is taking you away from me that will ultimately affect our marriage in a negative way, there is a legitimate jealousy inside of me that emotes for the sake of protecting our marriage. Now, when we first got married, I worked a lot. We had a new business. My family started a new business. I worked a lot. And when I wasn't working, I was golfing. And Karen's jealousy was not as much about work as it was golf, because I golfed all the time. And she would complain about it. And her issue was not golf. Her issue was the time it was taking away from her. It was coming in front of her. We had a tremendous amount of trouble over that issue. If you are not putting your spouse first, they're going to begin to emote. They're going to complain about your job. They're going to complain about the kids. They're going to complain about golf. They're going to complain about whatever it might be. And when they complain, they're being normal. They're being protective of the relationship. This is the number one law of marriage.
Thank you for joining us. Partner with Marriage Today and receive the Marriage on the Rock series on CD or DVD. Follow your interests and get social by connecting with Jimmy and Karen and the Ministry of Marriage Today on Twitter. Marriage Today's latest book, Happy Happy Love, will supercharge your marriage with practical tips, wisdom, and inspiration for every stage of marriage. Visit happylovebook.com. Become a rock-solid partner today and equip yourself with the tools you need for a successful marriage. $14, $28, or $56 per month. Choose the partnership level that's right for you. Become a rock-solid partner today.